You're listening to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristin and Polly, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristin and Polly. How are you?
Good. Hey, I love your little background.
Do you like that?
Really good. Yeah, it looks
Yes.
awesome.
Well, it's courtesy of a teenager who put a green screen situation behind me. But I'm into it. I think she did well.
Those teenagers are so handy.
They really are something, little angels.
Okay, so Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures. What's your, I'm going to ask, what's your high vibration moment?
I knew you were going to ask, and I'm prepared. Of course, I got a backstory, but I'll just tell you what it is. So teenagers, I have one that is approaching the end of the high school chapter and ready for something else. And we have been, and by we, I mean me, I think, have been stressed about what is the next step, what's going on. And I got so honed in on the details of it all that I forgot like what I really want. All I want is to feel peace about it. That's it. That's what I want. So once that idea clicked into my head and I remembered this is truly what you want, I said just the easiest of prayers, just Jesus, let me feel peace. And there it was. It came in so clear, so quickly, so calmly. And I thought, man, that just feels good. And, then it's all going to be okay. And I did this once before.
Only once.
Yeah, only once before. Once that was really impactful that I remembered. I had, it was when I first started dating my husband, and this was decades ago, and I was in between jobs, and literally in between jobs, like I did not have a plan, and I was very, very nervous, and he had just left, and I was freaking out, and then I, for whatever reason, threw up a prayer, and it was specifically to Jesus, let me feel peace. I don't know what I'm doing with this job situation, and immediately it came over me, and I loved the feeling, loved how I felt. Everything ended up working out, but so I called on that again, and I need, my hope is that I can remember this is a tool in my toolbox. All I got to do is pray to feel better, to feel peace. So anyway, that was my high vibe. Yeah.
I love it. But it's also to know that it's possible, right?
Yes.
Because people can quote unquote pray all the time, but if they don't believe that this is going to unfold, right? Like if and praying for peace is praying for peace. It's not like praying for, I don't know, the neighbor to move or something, right?
Right. Yeah. I wanted some intervention with my feelings.
Yeah. It's like praying for peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Let's see. My high vibration moment. I think, I always love the trails. So I think mine is just going to be, when I go hiking behind our house and there's people that I see periodically. And there's this one guy that I see quite frequently. And it's just really sweet to say hello to him. And he's the one that carries the rosary beads in his hands.
Oh,
and he does, because he says he's like, what better place to pray than out on the trail? Isn't that sweet?
Yes. And he's correct. I love that.
He is correct. I know. And so it's just makes me happy. It's just really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Just very sweet. Very sweet.
Did you already hike this morning? Were you on the trails already today?
No, I was at the gym. I had my friendly trainer.
And how do you feel? Sore yet?
No, I'm sure I will be. Because we did the sled. We pushed and pulled the sled. My favorite.
I love a good sled. Nice.
Okay, let's talk about something juicy.
Ooh, yes. Sign me up.
Okay, let's talk about angels.
Mm-hmm.
Because angels remind me of, kind of like, how you hear about gateway drugs? They remind me of the gateway to get into spirituality, the non-religious spirituality, if you will, right? Because there's so many religions that believe in angels, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's very easy for people to start thinking about working with angels, whether you are religious or spiritual or however, right?
Yeah. And it feels very safe. Like personally, my comfort zone is like God, Jesus, angels. That feels good to me.
Yeah.
And so going into something a little bit more like spiritual and thinking about, like moon, stars, all the deeper stuff, definitely angels are my path to get there. That's how I go, and that's what feels good and right and has proven effective.
Yeah. But you were raised going to church, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it stuck with you. And like a million years ago, I was trying to get like a donation for some school fundraiser when I was still being a good parent. And
I know people like you.
yeah. And I went to this little spiritual store and she had like really cool stuff, like great things. And I was trying to get donations. And so she said, well, let me talk to my spirit guides about this. And I'm like, what? And I left thinking like, oh, that lady's off a rocker. I didn't even know what a spirit guide was.
What? Okay, how many years ago was this?
A long time ago.
30?
Well, no, it wasn't that long ago. Like
20?
Probably 20. Because I always thought, okay, in my mind, listen, it wasn't even 20 because in my mind, everybody's heard of angels, but right, but I hadn't really look at my life changed so much so fast, and I hadn't really like the idea of having a spirit guide or having spirit guides. I had no idea. I had no idea. And
it's so funny for me to know, like to wrap my head around the idea that Polly existed. Because the Polly that I know is
well, no, I was going into that store because I liked the store. I loved all the angelic stuff. I loved the crystals, but I still had no idea that there was this whole world of spirit guides. But we'll have to have another session or whatever it is that we do on spirit guides. But,
yes, we will.
Okay, can I tell you an angel story?
Yes, please.
Okay, so, and then we'll talk about angels and you'll tell angel stories. But you know how I am with, maybe it's because I'm lazy or whatever, but you know how I don't really do names. Like people in a reading will be like, what's my spirit guide's name? What's my angel's name? Whatever. And I don't really do names. Like it's like I go by the way they feel. So again, a million years ago, but this is when I was like, I knew about spirit guides. I knew about angels and everything. I'd had my big awakening. And I know you've heard this. I would just talk all the time to angels, like I'll talk all the time to guides and angels. And I don't know if I was like trying to get a name or what the heck was going on, but I remember I was doing a plank in the, that little workout room that we have in Alaska.
Yes.
And I was like trying to get the name or whatever. And I heard like Sandalphilin, but like it sounded more like dolphin, like Sandalphilin or whatever. And I kept hearing it. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? You know me. So I went and got, Googled it. And it's an archangel. It's actually like, if you go by the month, it's the Archangel of March or whatever. Isn't that funny? It's the only name I've ever gotten.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
We got to do more research on who this angel is. And I love that you got it during a plank.
Well, because I was always like, okay, let's connect. It didn't matter what I was doing. I was like,
I think the real message is if you want to connect with an angel, you need to plank. It's another motivation to work out here, people. I love that. That's cool. So what do we know about Sandalphon?
He is very much, okay, he has I think he's the one that has the twin or the brother with Metatron, I'm pretty sure. He's with, he brings the messages to God, I think. And the big thing is he's with nature. He's very grounding for your crown and for your root chakra. But he's very assisted, like connected to nature.
Which is so your thing with the trails and he's your people.
He's my people. He's with me. I know. Isn't that funny though?
It is funny, but I love that. So I just listened to a podcast about angels, and it was about invoking angels, like calling in certain specific angels for certain specific tasks. So there's an entire list of archangels that are affiliated with certain aspects of life that we need assistance on. We would call on them. In addition, this podcast said that there are angels for everything. Like if you're going into a real estate transaction, you could call on the angels of real estate, the angels of interest rates, the angels of all these things. Going into, and I've done this quite a few times, going into when I'm going to be doing like a presentation or a speaking event or a big meeting that I'm, really, I need to get certain things out of it. I'll call on all the angels of communication and collaboration and negotiation and anyone who feels like they might be able to help, and then try to rally a team before I go in. But I don't know I know very little about specific archangels and who to call on during certain things. So I just tend to like throw it out there to the entire angelic realm. Like anybody who's free to help me out, let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because there's also people that believe, we can only surmise, right? We can only do what feels like truth to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the only way, whether it's talking about life, death, the other side or whatever. It's like, it's what we have experienced and what feels like truth. And so, some people even believe that in terms of like the angelic community, if you will, it is that vibration of energy, that collective, if you will, that collective of energy like we might call it Archangel Raphael, but it's that collective of energy that helps heal. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, like I do feel like when we connect to the other side, that we connect with a collective, right? Of different things that we connect with. I do, anyhow. For me, it feels like I connect with collectives, not like people, but when we go beyond the people realm.
But I feel like it's explained to us in the basic level so that we can understand it. And maybe in a childlike mindset, you understand it simply. An angel is, in our minds, initially like a person only with wings and glowy and with powers. But we're able to understand it because we picture it similar to how we are. And then as we grow with our spiritual journey, we're able to understand like bigger concepts, like the collective, and like, it's just a power or an entity that is assisting and bringing us peace.
Yeah. And here's an idea, and then we'll go back to the angels. What if like every experience, like every life that we've had, because we've had like so many, as like say Kristen, we'll look at you, like all the experiences you've had as a person or whatever, maybe a dog, goat, whatever you've been, rock. Okay, bringing all of that together into one being, right? And that's you. I mean, that's truly you. Isn't that crazy? And so we can think of that angel as having all of these experiences and expressions of self and coming into one form, that collective that can really help hone us, help provide care for us and protection. Just something to think about.
Yeah, I like that. Well, so then it bodes the question, what is an angel? Which the internet would say is, some sites on the internet would say, and I do like to think about this, different than a person. Like sometimes when you're little, I was taught or just implied an angel would be someone who died and went to heaven. Simply put. Yeah. After researching and thinking and praying and contemplating and living a bit of life, I feel like, no, that's not exactly the case. That they have never incarnated on earth. They're just a being of all-knowing and, godlike vibes, but not having lived a life.
I agree. I mean, I think, as the story goes, isn't there like one that has been on earth, one or two that has been on earth, and then, but yes. I agree. They're not like the dead grandpa.
Right. Different.
We can say grandpa was like a joy, right? But grandpa's not an angel. I mean, in that sense. Grandpa might be an angel.
But you're right, though. Pragmatically, we do say often like, oh, he is such an angel, meaning like a very good person, like very, very wholesome and kind and all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then with that being said, when I do my morning prayer, and usually I do it, if it depends. If I'm by myself, obviously I do it by myself. Occasionally, I'm blessed with the opportunity to share a bit of a morning prayer with my two carpool companions, aka my youngest children. And we'll do like just an easy, nothing too formal, because I want them to enjoy the idea of prayer, and I don't want it to feel like taxing and okay, now we will bow our heads. I don't want it to be forced. Like on the way to school, this is how it goes. Liv wants to hear a Taylor Swift song. Oh yeah, let's play the song, but hang on first, let's say a quick prayer. Radio off, dear God, thank you, always gratitude first. And then this is the quickest prayer, but throw up some love, some gratitude, ask for help for today, any tests or meetings or anything, protection. And then at the end, we will say, angels, we invite you in, and like remove any obstacles, keep us from living our best lives. I have since, when I do it, I always say, angels, I invite you in. Please help me do good or achieve whatever I'm working on. And then I'll specifically say, please let this happen without any discomfort to myself. And that just makes me feel like, oh, it's going to be okay. I'm not going to have to learn any painful lesson today. Which, that. It may or may not be true, but it does bring me peace, which is obviously what I'm always after.
Well, I think ease and grace. I mean, look at whatever we're going into. It doesn't, honestly, it's whatever we go into, because we've all had challenges, and chances are we'll have a few more challenges, but doing it with ease and grace. Okay, let's talk about the archangels. But we do have to in the future talk about ascended masters and guides, because that's so much fun.
I'm going to make a note of that.
Okay. And also, the guardian, I guess guardian angels are different than the archangel. Okay, here's one more question and then we'll get into it. So, people have traditionally they have put like different levels of like a hierarchy. Like your guardian angels are not quite as powerful as the archangels, right? There's like different types of angels, which I think is interesting, because is that really true?
Well, I think it's one of those things that is dumbed down to our human minds and how limited we are. And we think in terms of levels and stair steps.
Yes, I agree. Thank you for that. We have a caller.
We have a caller.
That's straight.
Hello.
Welcome, caller. You're on the line with us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventure. Do you have a specific question we can help you out with today?
Yes, my name is Bobby, and I'm a yoga instructor. Have you ever had a personal experience where a connection with nature or a simple natural remedy played a significant role in improving your overall well-being or revealed a deeper truth in your life?
All the time. Bobby, that's like literally, you speak my language all the time. That's why I spend so much time on the trail, because it is where I feel so connected to the higher power.
And what's funny is when I'll talk to Polly after she comes off the trail, and I know, we've been friends doing this thing called life for a while together. And if I need to tap her for something specific or something important, I will wait until she's fresh off the trail, because that's when she is most connected and present, and I'm going to get some good stuff out of her. So for sure, she thrives in nature.
Yeah, and I don't, but everybody's going to hear this now. I don't necessarily share this little aspect, but there has been many times where it's so easy for me. Like if I go hiking and I sit, go up to the little top of the mountain, and I love the old dead trees. I don't know why, but I just do. And I will look at those trees. I will look at what's around, and I can just see, I am shown the life of the tree, the life of how it connects with the earth, and how all of this connects with the universe, how we are all part of it. And absolutely 100%. It is so powerful.
Definitely. Bobby, so you're a yoga instructor. Let me ask you something. Do you feel different in your practice when you, like, say you're in a yoga studio where the lights are dim, the music is perfect, maybe some candles are lit, it smells like a spa, like that yoga practice versus one where you're outside and maybe you're on the beach in the sand or in the grass and the wind and the sun? Can you feel a difference, like, in the practices? Does it feel different in your environment?
I definitely prefer being outside in nature doing yoga because I feel a lot more connected to the ground and the earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that makes sense. There's just something about it that brings us back to where we're from and what we were meant to be, and connecting with gratitude. But when I'm practicing yoga, what I love about it is it makes me happy in a grateful kind of way. And when I can send that energy to the earth, I always feel like good stuff is flowing from, sky through me to the earth and right back up.
Bobby, what do you hold in your hand? Do you hold like a crystal or something that reminds you, like, what do you hold in your hand? It's like a crystal or some, maybe
Yeah,
like
I've
this.
actually used crystals before. I think they're one of my favorite objects to use when meditating.
Okay. Because they're showing me you holding something in your hand. So I don't know if it's a crystal or what it is, but it's like this big. But they also show it to me that sometimes you do it on the mat. So do you do that? Do you hold it in your hand sometimes before you start practicing yoga?
Yes.
And they're also showing me that this is the word that they're using. This isn't necessarily the word that I would, pull out, but they're saying you're divinely guided, so that you know much more than what you share with other people. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yes. So don't be afraid to share that wisdom, because you have so much love and compassion and wisdom, and you really do have this understanding of, it's funny that they're using the word chemical, like the chemical makeup of humanity or the universe, but you have this innate knowing and ability to read people and to read the room, and to just, you really help bring this connection together, and they really want you to start doing more of that. Don't be afraid to expand in that area, if that makes sense to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the advice.
Because you really do have a gift, and your gift in part is reading people, because I keep saying that. But for you to really, like, also imagine that you're kind of like an anchor for bringing that energy down, and then you disperse it. So start thinking of that. I don't know, I'm sure you're very intentional, but you could actually start thinking, like, before every time that you're with a group, you could actually start thinking, for this practice, I am sharing peace. And so everybody gets some peace in that practice, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. I actually have a class to teach now. I appreciate it.
Great. Have a great class, Bobby. Thank you so much for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I
was
love a
awesome.
good yoga vibe.
I do too. Okay, we got to talk about angels. But here's the thing. Like, I love that he asked that question, because it's like, if you can think about that, we have that energy of angels, of connection, of peace, of grace, all of that stuff is here all the time, right? Like, I love that. I do love that. And we just have to be aware of it.
Completely.
Okay, so here's something that I thought was interesting. Archangel Raphael. Okay. Healing. Green. We both have green on today. What I thought was really interesting about this, so he's healing, wellness, works with healthcare professionals, but listen to this: angel of travelers and matchmakers. And I remember hearing about the matchmaking before, and I forgot until I looked at it again. I thought, how fun is that? How fun is it to have an angel for matchmaking?
Okay, if you were ever going to trust somebody in that realm of your life to guide you, do an archangel.
And for matchmaking and under wellness, right? So you know what you're getting. Like if you get a relationship out of this, there's going to be wellness. Guardian of young people. Again, I love that. Isn't that sweet?
Raphael is the guardian of young people?
Yeah, I think lots of times we think of Archangel Gabriel or Gabrielle for young people, but they say Archangel of young people.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, another thing that is so beautiful, healing and joy of living.
I mean, yes.
I mean, if nothing else, having a flippin' joy for life.
I feel compelled to get a little bit closer to my friend Raphael.
Well, you know what? You already are because you're wearing green today. So that's good. But really not. I love that. It makes me happy. And also good for the environment. But I just love that healing, that wellness. And it goes back, to that whole idea of wellness, which is, it is joy, right? It's having some aspect of joy. It's knowing, like, even if you don't feel it in this very moment, knowing it's possible. So I do love that.
I do too. And I always feel like wellness is in and of itself a form of gratitude and respect, because we're treating the body we were blessed with and the mind, because it's not just body. There's mind, body, spirit, relation, all the good stuff. Wellness is just a way to thank your body, your mind, thank God for giving you that, and just move forward with gratitude, being grateful for what you got and taking good care of it and doing the best you can.
Which is so interesting, because you sent me that little thing that on the other day, and I really do believe this. I really do believe that as people start evolving, and is evolving the right word, but as we become more attuned with the universe and live a more aware life, or a spiritual life, if you will. Like, I don't want to put labels, but just more attuned with your body and how it moves with grace through the universe. I really do believe that our food choices change. I really do believe that the words we use change. I think we still might swear, because
well, sometimes an adjective is an adjective and you can't get around it. But I do think that, yes, and food choices, we become, I think, more aware of what our body needs and very confident and direct in feeding it what it needs. So you're immune to the candies and things that are there. Suddenly you understand and you crave, like, that does nothing for me. I know how it feels when I get protein and apples, and that's the way I want to go.
And it's not a judge, and I think this is really important. Like, it's not a judgment thing, like, oh, I don't eat Snickers or whatever it is. It's not a judgment thing at all, right? It's just being aware of what your body just knows. And I feel like we're missing a piece when we explain that, but it's like our food choices, what we gravitate towards, changes.
Yes. Yeah.
So
because we are aware of what our body needs, and we almost take the emotional dependency and the habits out of it, and we're just listening to what our bodies are craving. And what they really want is just straight up nutrients.
Yeah, and it's like the distraction. I guess that's a good way of looking at it, is the distractions go away. So the foods, the whatever patterns, behaviors, those things fall away.
Yes.
Okay. Archangel Michael, what do you know about him?
Well, he is, I picture him, I see a lot of yellow. I see a sword. I will call on him when I need to cut ties with something that's not working for anymore, when I need protection. Like, I've been walking down a dark sidewalk and freaked out and been like, Archangel Michael, please protect me, and feel comfortable. Like, suddenly I feel like all's well. But so to answer your question, big fiery sword, lots of protection, lots of love, lots of power. And I picture him having like really pretty blonde wavy hair.
That's so funny. Okay, well, this is funny also. Like they say, quote unquote, whoever they is, leader of the angels. And again, I'm like, okay, is there really hierarchy? But is this just what we need? Because I often feel like Mother Mary has that. Oh my God, has the most angelic energy and is so good for families. But she's not necessarily considered an angel, even though for me she feels like an angel. Or some people say she's the queen of angels, maybe, but she feels like an angel. She's like, oh my God, has the best energy.
She's like the mother that we always needed.
Oh my God, so good, so good. Okay. Ariel, healing angel of nature, earth, and animals. Oh, and then here's another cool thing. Why do I not have that color? But here's another cool thing. Hold on. It just went away. Oh yeah, here it is. Did you know? Okay, so you can look and see, like, there's an angel for every month. So you can see like the angel of your birth month, which is kind of funny. And I sent you that funny thing, like whatever day you're born on, there's an angel for that day.
Yes.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And then of course I have questions like, how does that, who knows? And is it true?
Yeah,
and all
that's
that.
true.
But
I have questions.
Yeah. It's entertaining, and
It
it
is.
makes you, it eliminates the distractions of whatever else you might be thinking of and puts you back on the angel path, which is a path that I'm always down to go down.
And that's totally, I like that. Shamuel, I know I'm not saying this, forgive me, folks. Shamuel, how do you say that?
Shamuel.
Pink. You know who I think of with this one? It's peace and helps find things. But there's the saint, right? That helps find things, but helps find things.
Anthony?
Yeah. But I always remember this, like I always think of this angel as having to do like with, and I don't know why, I just always have, like with my middle child has always reminded me that she's got that pink energy around, like and she's feisty as heck, but this has always reminded me of her.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas the other two, I would see more of like Archangel Michael, anyhow, different type of, they're a little bit more, is intellectual the right word?
You can say that, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
and you know what though? This is an interesting concept because it's like Polly and I both have 3 kids. So I have 3 kids, all very different. And I could potentially like pair them each with an angel if I thought about it a little bit, because the angels they have their different strengths. I do not love one more than the other, just like I do not love one child more than the other, but for sure different.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love that. I mean, okay, here's another one. Oh my gosh, you guys, my writing is so bad. I know this is not right, but like it's not Jeremy. I'm sorry. Jeramul? I know, forgive me. Helps create a better life and help those that, I'm going to say it helps create a better life. Okay, can I just say this?
Yes.
You know this. I am essentially lazy. I am lazy. And so I just go with asking for my guides, God, angels, archangels, all of them to just, whatever is going on in my life, I just ask for that beautiful energy to come in, because I feel like turning it over to them, like I believe that they know more than I do.
They do.
They understand more of my situation than I do.
For sure.
And I trust them.
Yep.
I mean, but it is fun. Undeniably, it is fun to read about the angels and kind of tune in and see what one could help me with this situation.
And it makes me feel like I know them more. So I remember I was reading something one time or listening to a podcast. I don't know. The information came to me. And it was about driving in your car and just talking when you're alone, having a sensation that the Holy Spirit is sitting shotgun and you're just chatting with a friend. And when you take that concept to the angels, reading about them and knowing who does what and whatever, it just brings you closer to them and it becomes more of your world. And so when you throw up a prayer and you call in for their energy, it feels more doable. Like you're calling in a friend. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I get it. Like we're meeting angels and knowing their names and understanding what their strengths are and where their area of expertise is. But sometimes it pays not to get too specific and just to trust them all and call in that energy.
But I think this also, I think it's an important thing to remember, like in terms of spirituality, there is a never ending things of a list of things or whatever of that you can study, right? You can do this for 1,000,010 years and you're still going to have something like, I want to learn more about angels, I want to learn more, right? And so that's one of the really fun things about spirituality is that it never ends in terms of what you learn about and what you want to and what you want to connect with.
Yeah. Yes. And I will say that there's so much information and so many things to learn, and much of it is so interesting to me. I have to pace myself because I'll get on a rampage and just be like, I got to learn all this and that. And then I'll soak up so much information that I don't carve out any time to really practice it or play with what I've learned. Yeah. And that's the fun part. Like, learning it is fun too, but when you start implementing it into your daily practice, your meditation, your prayer, and play with it in real time, that's when it becomes impactful. And I have to really force myself to carve out time and actually implement it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, whether it's angels, whether it's crystals, whatever it is that we are studying, I mean, maybe it's just the way we move through the universe. Maybe it's alien, who knows, astral stuff. But it's so much fun to learn about it and then feel if it resonates with your life path. Like, does it resonate with where I am right now? Does it resonate with the lessons I'm learning in this life?
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, our caller had such beautiful energy and really shared that energy with so many people. And I don't even think he's aware of his calling of sharing that energy the way he does. Like, I don't know if he really knows, like he has that ability to have this connection and to share, right? If that makes sense.
When he was speaking, I kept getting this vision of him sitting on a mat, like on a cliffside teaching yoga, and there were roots coming from him into the earth and then out his head, like kind of dropping over all the students in his class. And he was very much like empowered and felt all the divinity in himself and all the knowledge. And he had a really solid self practice, but he hadn't really embraced the idea of all the information he could share with his students. It was like I don't know if he didn't, you know how sometimes you know stuff and you kind of assume everybody knows it? But he just knows so much. Yeah, he does. And it's been over years of just soaking up information and being in the right place at the right time with the right learning tool. He's such a wealth of info that he almost doesn't know he's got such a book of information in him to drop knowledge on all the students.
He's also a channel, though. Like, he gets a lot of stuff. It's just like this. He's a channel for cosmic messages, if you will.
I love that for him.
Really,
go Bobby, go. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bobby, I hope you honor that channel because he definitely is a channel for. I like that. That could be his tagline: a channel for cosmic messages. I do love that for him.
I do too.
Okay, so in terms of like, can you see that?
Oh, what's that?
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So this is for miracles. And so each one of these little symbols, there's like a hand. There's a million of them. There's like the heart, the frog, the leg. There's all these. There's even breasts. So there's all these things that you that they're considered miracles. Isn't that fun?
Frog is a miracle?
Well, it's for water. I know you don't like frogs.
I don't, man.
I know, but
I'm gonna work on that.
It symbolizes water. I had to ask, but it symbolizes water. But anyhow, all of these are like miracles. So you can ask, your higher power, your guides, your angels, for these miracles in your life, for wellness. Like the leg is to go far if you want, whatever. Like you'll just look at it and you'll come up with what your idea is, how this resonates with you. I have loved these forever. My Christmas tree is what is a bunch of these that you just hang on.
No way. Really?
It's just a bunch of these little miracles. I love it.
I love that. And then it's like the perfect reminder. Every time you walk by your tree, you're thinking miracles.
I love it. It's all these.
Yeah.
It's the miracles, and I just oh my God. And miracles to me are like that's part of the angelic realm.
Okay, so I was going to compliment you on your writing that you just did on miracles. I got my newsletter. I loved it. So listeners, if you would like to sign up for Polly's newsletter, it's pollywirum.com. Sign up for the newsletter and you'll get these blogs. Fantastic. I loved it. And just opening that and thinking about miracles, like I could tell my mood lifted. Like I love a good miracle story.
I love a good miracle also. And I have to say, okay, so I write those kind of quick and then I send them off. Well, I don't send them, but my helper sends them off to Your Tango. Your Tango will do edits on them and then it goes out on a bigger platform, which is really nice. I don't really care what they do because the message stays the same.
That's nice. And then it's like proofread and you don't have to.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And some of them they're like, okay, this is not very good. We'll pass. And then others they're like, yeah, this is whatever, I don't care.
And you're like, well, okay, thank you.
They did send one back to me to rewrite or turn it into 2. And I'm like, I am so busy.
Yeah, that was when I sent it to you. It's my final draft. Do with it what you will.
It truly is. It really is. But I'm so appreciative that because then they take it and do a few edits and then it goes out and gets lots of.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the perfect partnership. It works out for both of you well.
Partnership.
I love that.
Oh my God, is it ever? Yes, thank you.
I love a good partnership.
Okay, I do too. Okay, let's pull cards.
Okay.
I'm using my angel card deck.
You are? I got to go get my cards. I'll be off camera for a hot second. BRB.
Okay, perfect. So one of my favorite decks that I've used for a million years is Jane Wallace, the Angel Tarot. I love it. It's super pretty. I think sometimes tarot cards I have to be in the right mood to use like the traditional tarot cards. So I use the Angel Tarot or the Tarot of Light. I use a lot.
Angel card. Oh yeah, I'm going to use those. The Tarot of Light.
Yes.
Okay, so we are doing the energy of the week.
See? Yes, friend. Yes.
All right.
Let's
I'm going to
jump
give
right
mine a
into
little
it.
shuffle.
Okay, and you know what? Another thing that we have to talk about sometime is astrology. And when you have is it called that? When they determine like where you will best thrive.
Yes.
Are you going to do that?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then you know what? We should do an episode on that. Just our
True enough. And okay, ultimately, because whether it's talking to the angels, using tarot cards, whatever it is, ultimately it's our perception and it's our belief in how is this really going to affect me? Does it have power, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Whatever.
Totally. I've had a reading before and it was almost everything about it. I was like, well, she's wrong. And I don't know. I was just so completely sure that she was incorrect. And I think that's a fine example. And that is not who I am normally. I'm very receptive to things like that. I love a good reading, but I don't know. It was just everything she said. I was like, well, I wish that she could be a little bit more correct here because she's wrong.
Was it a long time ago? Did it come to fruition?
You know what? It was a long time ago and it did not come to fruition. But I almost feel like
she was wrong.
Maybe I willed it. Maybe that was the energetic path I was on and I just willed it away. I don't know.
So interesting. I don't know. Very interesting. Okay, what did you get for the week?
Okay, so I got, let me see if I can find my camera. Oh, no, there it is.
Oh, that's pretty.
Is it working? Okay, it's 3 of trees, which dedication is what's on there. So if I'm describing the picture here, there's 3 trees, but you can barely see them because of all the gold that's kind of sporadically.
The miracles.
Yes. And there's a big sunshine there. And then some of the gold that's sprayed in front of the trees is a lot of hearts. And so many hearts in all different shapes and sizes. And I love this. And I feel like it's a very skillful card. Like the dedication is hone your skills. You're on the right path because there's a bit of a path on the card too, but I'm thinking it's all about skills and the dedication that you have to honing your skills, perfecting your skills, doing your research, doing your practice, all the dedication and energy and effort that's being put forth right now on this path of your skill set, specifically skills. It's paying off, but it requires action steps. It requires the dedication and the commitment of forward movement and constantly being aware of the effort you're actually putting in. So like maybe you've got a goal, you know that not just anyone could achieve this goal. It does require a certain amount of talent and effort, and really assess, like, are you doing your best? Are you really putting everything you got into this? Could you do maybe a little bit better? If it's truly something you want and you want to achieve this, then the dedication needs to be the priority.
Is that your mother voice? Could you do a little bit better?
I'm sorry, could you do a little bit better over there, please? Thank you.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Maybe that was my instructor voice. Are you using your abs? Could you squeeze a little bit deeper?
She's a scary Pilates teacher. You're not. You're actually, you give great cues. I just will always remember that time at the long ago retreat where I just got up. I hadn't had my coffee.
Oh my God, you got up and got coffee, and all of a sudden you magically appeared in a swinging.
I got up and I was like, no, I gotta have my coffee before
And it was me. You left me and the sisters there.
I left you and the sisters. Okay, I love this week. There's a lot of comfort. I can pull two cards. One is comfort in the Pentacles, but here's the thing. You are being asked to look at what you find comfort in.
Ooh.
Right? It's a real telling week. What do you find comfort in? Because it's actually, this is so telling. Like, it's an opportunity to make some changes and find comfort in healthier ways. What do you find comfort in? Because there is some tremendous comfort to be had, but guides, angels, universe are just asking you to pay attention. What do you find comfort in? And is it aligned with who you really are?
Okay, this speaks to me. I love this card. I feel like it really, it's a self-check on where do you let your mind go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is. And also, like, what, in terms of like what, anyhow, it's enough said. Okay. The second one, I love this. Knight of the Trees, custodian. Really feeling, allow yourself, take some time just to tap in and be outside this week. Touch the rocks, touch the earth. Oh, and I love this too. Again, there's so much personal stuff this week. What are you a custodian of?
Ooh.
Right? Like what do you take care of? What do you guard? Because think about people that might be in like a hellish job or hellish relationship, and they are the custodian of that belief.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe it's time to be a custodian of your self-care, to be a custodian of your love, to be a custodian of your peace. Oh my God, right?
That feels good.
Of your peace. And so this week is really about paying attention to where we put our awareness and
yes. What are we dedicated to? What are we a custodian of? And be aware of all of it. Be very purposeful. I love this. I love these cards.
Yeah,
this message is good.
It is really good. Okay. Yeah, I like it. It's a great week, like you said, to be intentional.
It's a great week to be alive.
It is a great week. God, yes, it is.
One of my most favorite weeks ever.
You're so funny. Okay. To learn more about me, go to my website, pollywirum.com, and you can find my writing there, Your Tango or Eden Magazine. And I do life coaching and psychic readings, but and psychic classes, which that's the best way right now because I'm not taking any new clients until January 2024. But if you're an established client, my door is always open.
Very good.
All right.
Kristen.
You can check out my website, garagepilates.net. That'll give you all the info on the free YouTube workout channel, all the goods there. Follow Polly and I on Instagram, truth.wellness.psychic. And we will keep you updated, little surmises of all that we covered here today. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Anybody ever have questions, comments? There is nothing too great or too small.
Yes,
And
send us a message.
Yes, just send us a message. We'll do the best we can. That's
As
all we can
always.
offer. Do the best we can with what we have.
Hashtag goals.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Kristen. I love your look today.
Thank you so much, Polly. Have an amazing week.
Oh, God. Thank you so much. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
You're listening to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristen and Polly, only on LA Talk Radio.